So this is going to be a thought experiment. Um, I think there's a moment in our lives in which we have to abandon the safety of our homes and the safety of our family and be exposed to the evils of the collective. It's around 5, 6 years old. Sometimes it's early, but I think it, in any case, six or early, it's too early. I think we ought to be exposed to the tyranny and the evils of the collective late, like 12 or something, around 12. I think that's when we have already, developed character enough to deal with the collective. Tyrannical regimes, they want to get you as early as possible to turn you away from your family, to turn you against your family. They want you to be, their slave of the system. So, so in this moment in which you are at the mercy of the collective, uh, there's going to be attacks. Some are going to be welcomed in the collective. People create, groups. They likeness seeks likeness, and they start gathering and creating groups and friendships and whatnot. But there's going to be certain individuals that are more Machiavellian, and this is very early on. They start immediately thinking how to approach. They thinking how the angle, how to get you. And the ones who are easily dominated, they just don't pay much attention to them, and it becomes part of their groupie. But if they find an individual that resists and ignores and even challenges, they will try to destroy them. And this is early on. These posses, these groups, they start mounting. I mean, this is almost like, an intuitive predatory attack. They start early on destroying someone else's reputation. You see, and putting others against each other, discriminating, isolating certain individuals that simply don't want to play their game, their manipulative game, and between men, they kind of resolve their differences with, fists. But within women, it's slightly different because their fights is not like men. Men are physical and they hit each other and whatnot. But women, no, they fight differently. If you were to ask a boy how many fights you had today, he understands how many fist fights. But if you ask a woman how many fights you had today, she understands who treated me wrong, who stole my doll, who threatened to not talk to me, who tried to manipulate me, emotionally. That's how they fight. You know, so there are as many fights between men than there are as many fights between women, and this starts early on. Early on, so some men end up being bullied. The groupie just knows it's a safe place to be, and sometimes they go with the flow, and there's individuals that end up being bullied. These individuals will grow, into adults with absolute disgust towards collectivism, because they understand early on what the type of evil breeds from collectivism. You see, they understand it clearly, and these, of course, are the critical thinkers, the conspiracy theorists, the truth seekers. It's always these guys, because they saw through the bullshit early on. They are often creative people and intelligent people. Yeah, they're the ones who end up innovating and creating. And of course, not all cases are positive cases. Some cave into depression, right? because of the mistreatment, they cave into, very dark places. Um, this is just some, food for thought. Stuff that I gathered over the years and stuff I gathered from listening to specialists on the subject. Um, but there's a moment, in people's lives in which they'll be almost set for their life. What kind of perception do they have of the collective? Some are going to be in favor almost blindly to the collective, and others won't at all because they noticed the evils that it breeds. Yeah. Critical thinking is something that has to be developed, something we have to be reminded of. We have to be reminded of who we are and what are we doing here. We have to be reminded it, and that comes from education. You have it from your parents. School is not education at all. School is just a frontal lobotomy. They want to destroy the genie in you. You know, they want workers and taxpayers and whatnot. They don't want thinkers. Um, so I think it's a serious thing, bullying, and I think nobody cares, especially people in school or whatever. They don't care. They think, oh, it's the law of the jungle. It could be a a benediction, but it also could be a curse. Some people just cave into depression and you know because of the bullying. Others no, others arise. Yeah, I don't know what to think. It is almost like a reset, almost like forcing some people to reset to the factory. To it resets. It kind of breaks that spell that the world is a safe place and everything, and some people just arise and face it, and these become the ones who seek and try to, I suppose, defend and promulgate the truth. And I think it's that moment in our childhood we decide if you're going to be in favor of light or in favor of darkness. It's almost like evil is tempting you. Do you choose conformity, or do you choose, the enlightenment of individuality? What do you want? What do you choose? Mm, I mean, I'm for, the elevation of the individual. I am all for that. But never forget that we are social creatures, you know. Never forget we are social. We are a collective, yes. But we are individuals first, and we participate in the collective for the benefit of the individual, not the other way around. It's the same with money. Money exists to serve us, not the other way around. Clarity, discernment. Yeah, discernment and clarity. I think that's something missing in the world because people's discernment is destroyed in the first years of life. I think before the schooling system around 18th century, I think people was a lot more wise than they are now. After the schooling system, we had an invasion of the mouth breeders. Everybody became, let's seek the protection of the group, and that's it. No need to think. Just go with the flow. I don't know. Religions are also a collective, go with the flow thing. No need to think. The guru will tell you everything. Okay, I think I'm going to shut up now.